In 2021, I filmed a video about how to make friends here in Italy, and it's a topic that so many of you are still curious about because I'm still asked questions even to this day about how to make friends or form connections. Sitting here now in 2024, I can honestly say those extra 3 years have given me an even deeper perspective into what it means to have friendships here in Italy, and also some of the aspects that people don't really talk about when it comes to friendships here in Italy. I do think that there is something very beautiful about some of the dynamics when it comes to friendships here. I recently attended a wedding of some childhood friends. They have known each other for like 20 plus years, and it was really, really beautiful to hear the wedding speeches and hear them talking about their memories at school and understand what a journey they have all been on together. But I will say that that's only one part of the story. Just because people here in Italy do tend to have these kind of dynamics where people know each other usually since school or since when they were children, it doesn't mean that there cannot be changes and kind of things that go wrong within that dynamic itself. And that's something that I've really come to understand the longer I've spent here in Italy. Just because you know somebody for 20 or 30 years of your life, it doesn't mean your friendship will always stay the same in any way, shape or form. Things change, people change, situations change. People leave Italy and go to live in other countries or different cities and towns in Italy. And this all impacts the quality of friendship that you end up having. Life gets in the way, you know? And I think when I first moved to Italy in 2018, I had a very romanticized view of what friendships were like here. I was presented with groups of friends who had known each other all their life, and they seemed on the surface level to be really close and happy. And it really shone the light on my own relationships with people and friendships that I had, because my experience with friendships has been totally different. Like, you know, I have a select few people that have been with me my entire life, but then I've also had other people that have entered and exited my life at different points, different seasons, which in my opinion is kind of the natural ebb and flow of life. And it's almost more difficult for me to wrap my head around the fact that you can maintain these big groups of friends for your entire life, because we are all supposed to change as people. And when you change, sometimes that means that the people that were once around you are no longer the best fit for who you are. And as much as that sounds like really harsh for me to say on camera, it is the truth. You know, like they say, you are the best of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And yet if you've changed as a person and you've up-leveled your life, or you're working really hard on yourself, yet your friends that you've known all your life are kind of like bums sitting around not doing very much, it is going to impact your friendship, because you're not going to want to do the same things together anymore. And so that aspect has always been really difficult for me to kind of wrap my head around, but I have come to learn that friendships here are not perfect, and that even if those friends have known each other for an extended period of time, there can still be a difference in the dynamic between them as they get older, as they move to other parts of Italy or outside of Italy itself. It does change what the friendship stands for. And so I think that is definitely something that I've really come to learn, because one thing that I will say is that there is this common misconception that if you have an Italian partner, or if you know somebody here in Italy, it's almost like a magic wand that's suddenly going to make every experience you have here so much easier. It's simply not true. Like, there are many benefits to having an Italian partner. Like, I've relied heavily on my boyfriend in the very early stages of moving here to help me with translations and just setting up my life. But it didn't make my experience easier. I had a breakdown in the winter of 2019. And so, you know, that's proof enough that my experience wasn't rosy up until that point, even though I had started to get to know people here in South Italy. And so I feel like we have to lose this common misconception, because just because you know somebody, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easier for you to make friends with these people. As I've said before, people will be very accommodating because, of course, there tends to be this kind of open policy, whereas if you are a friend of a boyfriend or girlfriend or of another friend, people are very polite and curious at the beginning. But essentially there isn't an open ticket to a solid friendship. It could just be that you end up being acquaintances or people that you just say hello to. So I do feel like we have to bear that in mind. And It can be very difficult as well when you are in social settings, particularly at the very beginning of your journey here in Italy. If you don't speak Italian very well, it can be super difficult to form those connections and to really feel like you are part of that setting. I remember countless times in Salerno, like in the first couple of years of living there, I would be out with the people that I'd got to know, and I'd be sitting at these big tables full of people, but feel like the loneliest person in the room because I couldn't express myself. I didn't understand Italian well enough back then to be able to follow the conversations. Some people did their absolute best and translated for me, which I will forever be thankful for. But still, translation is slow. You miss the magic and flow of a conversation when you're waiting for somebody to translate what has previously been said like 10 minutes ago. And so it did impact like my experience with other people very early on. And so that's why I say, please don't fall into this illusion that because you know people here, you're going to have an easier experience. It's just not true. It's very much dependent on you as a person as to the kind of experience you're going to have. It doesn't depend on anybody else. The second thing that I've really come to understand about friendship here in Italy is that it's not really just an Italian thing. Like, you know, I think, as I've said in so many other videos, Italy as a country is romanticized beyond belief. And unfortunately, it means that every single aspect is given this kind of rose-tinted hue, which isn't realistic of the experiences that you'll have here. And so I can honestly say that, like, you meet people here that are warm-hearted and kind, and they want to get to know you and they make you feel really welcome. But you also meet people who are two-faced, they're not interested in what you have to say, they're not pleasant people to be around. This is real life. Like, you know, there are two sides to every coin and two sides to every experience. And so this is something I've really come to learn. In that respect, people here and the subsequent friendships you make are very similar to what you could make in any other country around the world. It's not exclusive to Italy. You can have people here who are your friends for a reason that benefits them and not because they're necessarily interested in you. You can have people who are friends with you because they want to have the company, or because they, I don't know, feel like it's a good thing to do at the time for themselves, but it's not necessarily something that's going to have any longevity. And so, you know, it's this. You've just got to remember this. Take away the romantic vision of friendship and life here in Italy and start to see it for what it is. It's the same as it is in any other country around the world. It's complicated, it can be beautiful, but there's no difference to the way that friendships are maintained here and the things that can happen within friendships. Where, you know, compared to any other country around the world. Another thing that I would say about friendship here is that it's difficult when you come from another country. I really think it is, because you come here with a different mindset, a different set of experiences, and it can be hard sometimes to meet your tribe here and to actually connect with people that might have the same mindset or have kind of the same aspirations as you. Now consider, when I moved here, I had already been a police officer and an entrepreneur, and I was beginning my English teacher role. And so, you know, at 34 years old, I had had all of this experience, and I was spending time with people who were a similar age to me and hadn't had half as much experience in their life. And so, you know, I just kind of feel that that does impact what you can talk about and the kind of conversations that you can get involved in and the kinds of activities and things that you'll do, you know? And I do think that that does kind of limit, in a way, the kind of connections you can have with people. And I think as well, I think I understand why expats, people who go to live in other countries, why they stick together sometimes. Now, I don't think this is necessarily a very good decision to do on a long-term basis, because I do think at some point you've got to mix with the locals to really integrate into life where you live. But I think at the beginning, I understand why people who come from other countries tend to stick together at the very beginning, because it's difficult with that cultural experience and difference. I sit here now and I see things, even as a content creator on YouTube, I see technology that is not available in Italy at the moment. It's only available in the UK or in America or in every other country but here. I see television shows that I really would love to watch here, but it's not available in Italy. Like, there are many different things that I miss or that I want, or technology that I see in use in other countries, which will probably never arrive in Italy this side of 2030. And I just think, like, I come with a different mind and different experiences, and it can be so hard to find people that relate to that here. And that is why I think people do stick together, I think, at the beginning, just to make the initial transition process so much easier, because it's hard. If you can't find your tribe here, it can be really lonely. And I think for me, what definitely helped me a lot was the expat group that I discovered in Salerno, because in that group, there were also local people. So it wasn't just people that had moved to Italy from other countries, but also some local people joined it because they wanted to practice their English. And so, you know, it was a great combination of characters in that group. And it really helped to bring me out of my shell and feel a bit more like myself again. But I think it's this, like, it's really hard when you have a different mindset. I think I have a very strong mindset here, and I think, you know, I'm lucky because I have started to make friends here now, and I feel very good about the friendships and the people that I know here. But it's not easy when your mindset is so different. Like, when I have like this forward-thinking, progressive mindset, and I think, like, you know, there's possibility, you can do it. And yet I look around me here in Palermo or here in Sicily and I see evidence of the opposite. It's very difficult sometimes to find people who will be on the same page as you and be like, yes, you're absolutely right, because people have grown up in this environment. They've grown up in the poverty, and they've grown up in the lack, and they've grown up in, you know, things always being difficult and not working. And so for me to come along and be like, but yeah, you can do this, and you can create a business online, and you can do all of these things, it sounds like it's light years away. It doesn't sound like it's real. And I think this is what really impacts the connections you have here. It's so difficult to come from another country and make friends. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's not easy, because essentially if you want to make friends, particularly with the locals, because yes, you can make expat friends, absolutely, it's what I did at the beginning. But if you want to make friends with the local people here, that takes time. Sometimes you're lucky and you might meet people at work that you can connect with, or you might have lovely neighbours or kind of interactions with people that allow you that opportunity to connect with local people. But it's not an easy thing to do. There are lots of different factors to it: language, cultural differences and experiences, and just also the simple fact that people here have friends. And it's not to say that they're not going to want to be open to making new friends, but I do think as you get older, there is less hunger to make new friends. You're building your life. You have the friends you need. You're not necessarily looking for new ones to enter into your life. And so I kind of feel like there's all of these factors that mean that it can be challenging to create lasting friendships here in Italy. And I feel like people don't talk about this enough. Like, you know, all we ever talk about when it comes to Italy is the beautiful life. And, you know, I know, and I'm pretty certain there'll be comments on this video that will say to me that, you know, I'm being overly negative as always, but I'm just telling it to you how it is. This is 6 years of experience here. I have friends here now. I'm very blessed to be able to say this, but it's not been an easy journey. And, you know, I've seen all the different spectrums. I've been kind of at the receiving end of feeling completely isolated within a group of people. And now I can be at the other end of the spectrum and feel like I can follow along with what people are saying and feel a little bit included. But that's a journey, and it doesn't come from the minute you step foot off the plane here in Italy. It also depends on what you're doing here. If you are a student and you are naturally going to be immediately in contact with other people, then maybe you will find it easier to form friendships here. But if you are somebody who is working here, maybe you're even remote working, or you don't have an office that you're regularly meeting people and colleagues in, it's not easy. You know, you can say hello to somebody and you can be acquaintances in that way. But when it comes to forming deep, lasting friendships, I think that is a process here that takes a lot of time, because Italian people, they want to know you, to trust you. It's that kind of connection here. It's not superficial. And I feel like that's what I really love about the friendship here in Italy, is that You can have superficial connections here, absolutely. As I said, Italy is no different in that respect to other countries around the world. But true, genuine friendship here is based on trust and connection, and there is no superficiality about it. And that is the most beautiful thing. I will see you in the next video.